Hello, I'm Thomas Reiner, the Lean Farmer, and welcome to another short episode on Farming Outside the Box. This week I was asked by my good friend David Long down in Wilmington, North Carolina, to come down and visit his place of business, the place that he started, called My Employees. And I was able to go down there. I had another friend of mine, Brad, flying from Canada, and he picked me up in his plane. And we flew down to Wilmington, and then I also met up with another friend that flew in from Portugal. His name is Felipe, and we were able to spend some time at My Employees. So I'm going to share that time with you. It's really exciting. You say, Thomas, does that have anything to do with farming? No, not necessarily, but it does have to do with lean, and in order to farm better, you need to understand lean better. So hopefully you'll get a good kick out of it and enjoy the time that we spent at My Employees learning about lean and seeing how lean is applied in other areas. So I started off this lean adventure at the Lynchburg Regional Airport, where my buddy Brad flew in to pick me up in his plane. First time really flying for any length of time in a small plane, and I must say it was a blast. As soon as we were on the runway, Brad gave me the stick, and I was able to fly for the next 2 hours as we flew down to North Carolina. And the entire way we dodged thunderstorms and flew in between large rain clouds, and it was quite fun trying to learn how to fly a plane, and especially learning to fly in between small clouds and avoid the thunderstorms that were coming. In this particular shot you can see a thunderstorm that's going to come up and we're going to pass on our right hand side, and it was just amazing to see the rainfall and give you a different perspective of a thunderstorm than what you see when you're on the ground. And then this next shot here, you can see we had to fly in between two thunderstorms, and that was pretty interesting, basically threading the needle to get through the two thunderstorms. Here we are in between the two. And then as we got close to Wilmington, there was a huge storm over top of the airport. Brad was having to do some quick figuring. It was clear behind us, but the airport was waving us off. But we were patient, hung out for a few minutes, and then the storm began to pass and we could see the runway. And Brad decided we would give it a try. And so the storm passed, we could see the runway clearly, and it was really fun to be able to come in and land just as a storm went by. It was an exciting time to be flying in the plane and watching Brad get us down from the sky. Brad is an amazing pilot, and it was a super smooth landing, much smoother than I expected it to be, especially with all of the turbulent weather that had been around. He really did an excellent job getting us down, and it was fun learning from Brad. When we landed, we were met by our good friend David Long, who's a Business Week best-selling author, and he took us back to his beach house, and we had an awesome room. We each had our awesome room and awesome view of the ocean, and it was just a nice time to catch up. And then the next morning we were able to go to My Employees, which is an awesome company. They do employee engagement work, and it was an awesome company. Spectacular foyer when you walk in, and beautiful paintings everywhere. This one was in David's office of Stonewall Jackson. And then we had a mastermind meeting. We got to participate in that, and it's where a group of business folks come in, and they either bring a challenge or an opportunity, and they share it with the group, and then really there's a bunch of wise counsel, if you will, that goes on, and everybody kind of bounces the ideas off of each other. And then there's different skill sets in the room, and it was quite a diverse group, from a solar power installer to an apparel industry CEO. So it was pretty amazing to see all the ideas being bounced off each other, and it was just a fun time to learn. And then My Employees, they had their own time where they brainstormed, and that was just exciting to see them work, and they have such an amazing culture there. Then we were able to go out on their shop floor, if you will, and they have lots of laser engravers and printers that they use, and just an exciting place to be and see their culture again. And they're also lean fanatics. They've done tremendous amount of lean improvements out on their floor with their laser engravers and how they have them set up. And then each of the employees are just really dialed into trying to make improvements and make things better continuously. And their attitude on the floor is just an amazing thing to participate in and be around. And while we were out on the floor, Brad and Philippe and myself were able to share some of our experiences and pass along some knowledge that we have in lean, and so many of the employees were so open to different ideas that we would toss out to them. It was a great time. And then Philippe and I, we left with Brad and David, and we went to this awesome restaurant right on the Sound. We had a great meal, and were able just to talk and share some more ideas. And David took us back to his beach house and just took so much time sharing his experiences with us and sharing his knowledge with us, and he's such a giving person. And then it was just a tremendous view that we had the entire time while we were sitting there, so it was great to be able to do that evening. The next morning we were back at my employees, and we were able to go out on the floor again and share some of our ideas on how they could possibly improve things. And then we participated in their book club, which was amazing, where they either share information that they had learned from a book that they all read together as a company, or in this case, in just a few moments, we watched a video and then shared what we learned from that. And they took an hour with all of their employees, and they went through different things that they learned or were able to take away from either a book or the video. And David himself is out there working with his employees, trying to grow them, and it just creates an amazing culture. And it was an amazing time. And Adam, the COO on the right, was also a great person, and we were able to go out for lunch and just have a good time doing that. And then when we came back after lunch, Brad was able to get up and do some training on buffer stock and theory of constraints, and it was just a real fun time of being able to share some knowledge that we had, and so many people were open and to receive that information. And Brad really did an excellent job. He's an excellent trainer, and he's so passionate about what he does. And then we were back out on the shop floor, and we were helping my employees to make a training video on how to actually train people, and that was exciting to participate in that. We had a good time, and it was really fun. And then as soon as that was over, the weather had turned and it was starting to rain, and so Brad and I were trying to figure out if we were going to be able to get away and make it out of the airport. And it was starting to clear, so we were trying to get in the plane and get out of there as quick as we could before another storm washed up. And so Brad was quickly getting everything together, and we were able to take off and get off the ground again. And this time Brad flew back, and I was really glad that he did, because it was quite a bit bumpier than the ride down. And again, we dodged thunderstorms the entire way. Mostly we were able to put them off to our east side and kind of skirt around them, as you can see in this picture here. And again, it was just amazing to see all of the rain coming down and be so close to it and just get a bird's eye view of what it looks like from the sky. And then again, it was also really bumpy, especially one time we had an amazing updraft or downdraft, and it was just fun to see how the plane handled and what it did. And it was also fun to watch Brad fly the plane. He really did an amazing job flying the plane. It was beautiful, and once we got past most of the storms, it was pretty clear sailing, if you will, and you could see them way off to the east, and we stayed away from any of the turbulent weather that was over there. And again, I just had a great time watching them fly. There you can see a rainbow off to the side of the plane. That was beautiful. And then just the normal views you get to see when you're flying. We were about 2,000 feet there, so you could see a lot of details. And then as we got close to Lynchburg, things got pretty busy in the cockpit. It was a lot of traffic up there, and Brad did an excellent job bringing the plane in and touching down. And again, it was fun to watch him fly the plane, and it was fun to be able to ride in that plane and see everything that we saw. So thankful to be on the ground, and Brad left and took off heading to Canada, and then I was able to come home and had a great time on the trip. But I always enjoy checking out the mountain views when I get home and being home on the farm. It was a great lean trip.